Welcome to the channel. This is Coach Charles on Kick on Sports. Now, I think we need to start calling a spade because this Manchester United formation is not gonna work for Ruben Amorim. It's not gonna work because I believe this coach has to realize by now that teams are not easy to play against, more so when you cannot control the midfield. And our midfield is normally a problem in the second half when everyone is tired. Bruno is tired, Mount is tired, and there's no one covering them. A point where a team like Manchester United plays without a defensive midfielder. This is not a system that will work in the long run, and the coach needs to realize this as soon as possible. Otherwise, it's gonna be hell at Manchester United. Anyway, this is Coach Charles on Kick on Sports. Consider subscribing to this channel because we are doing things in a layman's language. Now, a game like Fulham's game is not a game that really should be this difficult to win. You know, a team that what am I talking about? This is madness. I'm really mad because why can't the coach just bring in another midfielder for a defender? You don't need to play all the 5 defenders all the time. You know, you remove Ahmad, you bring a Dalot, expecting that Dalot will deliver crosses. You have Shesko, who is 7 foot tall. Why can't you deliver those crosses to Shesko? Why can't you do that? Why was he being bought? Because this guy has come in, he's played over 30 minutes, but we've done nothing with that height, with that football IQ, with that, you know, no corners, no swinging balls. Basically, what Manchester United has managed to achieve in the second half is nothing. Nothing, basically. You know, once we went forward, it is high time that Ruben Amorim realizes that you do not have to play all the time. Sometimes when you're leading, just take your time. Control the game. And how do you control the game? Introduce another midfielder. Kobe Manu is a ball player. This is a baller through and through. And he's basically seated on the bench, doing nothing. The kid is just wondering, why am I even here? You see, these are situations that Manchester United should realize that this kind of mistakes that we are making will cost us some of these good players. And Kobe Manu is a very good midfielder. So I'm looking at Casemiro and Bruno in the first half. They were excellent. They were good. But then the second half, these guys are spent. We get a penalty, and Bruno, for the love of it, just kills the ball. We have MAINOO who plays penalties. We have Cunha, who is a penalty taker. Why can't we just make some changes? Because in the past few days, Bruno has been a point of speculation for a transfer. The Saudi Arabian teams are looking at him. They're wondering whether they should bid for Bruno again. You know, this is a guy whose mind is not settled. A game like this, I think Cunha or MAINOO should have taken that penalty. This guy just rockets the ball to the moon. I hear the ball has not even landed in space yet because it was so high up. You know, you're wondering, what happened, Bruno? You've been doing this. You've been doing this day in and day out. How come he's able to miss this kind of a ball? Anyway, we ended up getting a goal, a deflected goal from Muniz. What happens? Manchester United does not stop playing the same way. We don't even take our time to just stay back, you know, soak the pressure, hit these guys on the counter, because we have players who can do that. We have guys who are able to do that. Cunha is fast, MAINOO is fast. Then we bring in Shesko. I wish we could introduce another midfielder, because by bringing Maguire and removing Luke Shaw and Yoro, basically you're not doing anything. You're not improving attack. You cannot depend on Maguire all the time to be able to bail you out through corners and headers and all that kind of shit. You just need to control the game. That is what Manchester United are lacking. Control. We do not control games enough. Even the game against Arsenal, the pressure was there. We put Arsenal under pressure. Yes, we did not score, but at least you saw it was better. But still, if the coach decides to bring in another midfielder, I tell you, we're winning this game. Clean. Every other day, we are winning this game. So I don't know why this doesn't happen. Why is Kobe even in that team? Why is Kobe even seated in that bench? This is a player that can provide a lot of control in the middle of the park. Anyway, I'll still remind you, consider subscribing to Kick on Sports. We are mad because we are losing games that we don't expect to lose. You know, Basi dominated Ahmad in the first half. You wonder why. Belmo was not himself. He was not in his best shape. I think that is a time when the coach should have introduced also another player in that position. Because this guy was brought in not so early in the season. So he didn't get enough preseason. He only played 1 game or 2 games and you're giving him 90 minutes. And Kobe has been there all the entire preseason doing the right things, doing the right job. How come this boy is not being considered for some of these matches? Because it is a high time that Ruben Amorim realizes United is a hot seat and everyone will be judging you according to the performance that you put up. And this was not a performance that is worth the salt of a club like Manchester United. We needed to score, we needed to win this game, but still nothing happened. You see, nothing happened because the system is too complicated. No swing crosses from Dogu, no swing crosses from Dalot, enough crosses to even bother Fulham. These guys were relaxed. They had, in fact, they were just tweeting. They were just on X at the back there. You know, this is not what we expected from Ruben Amorim in his second season. Last season, he had the advantage that he had not gotten a preseason. Now he has a preseason behind him. What is the excuse? What is the excuse? But our goalkeepers also need to do better. They need to be present. They need to be able to just read the game. Because Bayandil, I don't think he's Manchester United material. You know, Yoro was good. Yes, Ahmad was not in his best. And in the midfield, I didn't even see what Bruno brought today. Today Bruno was off, missing a penalty. Even just his demeanor was not there. You know, Cunha was always bright, very bright. This is one of our best players. In fact, he's done so well. Dogu did not deliver anything. No crosses from Dogu. Every time he will cut back. Why is that happening? Yet you can cross that ball. There were not those through passes to Belmo and Cunha from the middle of the park because there was no one in midfield to handle this. You know, so we just need something to change. We need something to change for Manchester United. So basically, for the player ratings, I think Bayandil gets a 5. That is basically what happens. Bayandil gets a 5. You know, Luke Shaw gets a 5. Delete gets a 7 because Delete was solid. He was present. He was very, very good. Yoro gets a 7 because he got a goal for Manchester United. Ahmad gets a 5. Bruno gets a 4 because Bruno is expected to deliver more than what he did. Casemiro gets a 5. Dogu gets a 5. Mount gets a 5. Cunha gets a 7. Mbeumo gets a 5. So, the players who were brought in, those ones, for example, Shesko gets a 5. He had nothing to feed on. So, basically, Manchester United need to do better. Now, there's a game in the middle of the week on Wednesday. I think it's a Carling Cup. I think some of these players will be brought in to just get some game time in their legs because this is a team that is way below Manchester United's level. So I think the coach will make a lot of changes, but we need to do more. Consider subscribing to Kick on Sports, share this video widely, and please comment. Let's hear what is your opinion. Now, match review, this is what I have. And I think Manchester United are in problems if we cannot start winning games and winning them as soon as possible. Cheers.